Turtles are truly incredible and very ancient creatures. There are many species of turtles and tortoises, yes, they are different, that are living representatives of creatures that have inhabited the oceans and lands of Earth for 100 million years. These are extraordinary reptiles, and many of them are at risk, to the point that they may cease to exist soon, and perhaps they are already disappearing before this video even ends. So, before they vanish forever, take a look and appreciate these 20 turtles that you won't believe actually exist. At least for now, they still do. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Now let's get started. Number 20. Yellowheaded Temple Turtle. First, we have the yellow-headed temple turtle, a species native to Southeast Asia. The name of this curious turtle comes from the fact that it is often found near Buddhist temples, which is, indeed, a bit unusual, right? It's possible that these turtles are seeking some kind of protection within these temples, trying to avoid being captured or consumed. This becomes even more significant when we realize that these adorable reptiles are increasingly threatened throughout much of their natural habitat, mainly due to a common problem affecting global wildlife: humans. People with their predatory activities have caused serious damage to the environment and wildlife, and in particular, the yellow-headed temple turtles have been hunted for their shells and meat. Unfortunately, some cultures consider these turtles delicacies, and this reckless desire to consume them has led to a drastic decline in their populations. As a result, they have almost completely disappeared from certain countries where they once lived freely, and are now confined to smaller, more protected areas. In Thailand, for example, this turtle is officially protected from exploitation, living in areas that are rigorously monitored. However, the population of this species has declined by 80% in the past 10 years in its natural habitat. If this decline continues at the same alarming rate, these turtles could disappear entirely in just a few years. This serves as a reminder of how our actions have a devastating impact on biodiversity and how urgent it is to implement effective conservation efforts for endangered species. Number 19. Helmeted African Turtle. The helmeted African turtle is known by a variety of nicknames, including swamp turtle, crocodile turtle, African side-necked turtle, and of course, the helmeted African turtle. The reason for so many names is a mystery, but somehow this species has ended up with more aliases than an international spy with multiple identities. This turtle is relatively small, reaching about 20 centimeters in length when fully grown. Despite its small size, the helmeted African turtle has a unique personality, standing out for its friendly and smiling appearance, making it one of the most approachable and amiable among reptiles. However, as in any situation, one should never fully trust a smile, especially when it comes from a turtle, as it could be a trick. I speak from experience. This turtle can be found throughout much of the African continent, from Ghana in the west to South Africa, and extending from Sudan to the Cape Peninsula. It prefers to live in areas with stagnant and still waters, such as swamps, rain puddles, marshes, and lakes, although they can also be found near rivers with flowing currents. Despite their friendly appearance, these turtles are not very sociable with other turtle species. They tend to be territorial and can become quite aggressive if another turtle approaches their territory. The helmeted African turtle, therefore, is the type that prefers its own company, keeping a distance from other reptiles and taking care of its peace and space. Number 18. The sucking turtle. The sucking turtle is a unique resident of South America, with a rather unusual appearance that makes it stand out among other turtles. It is easily recognizable by its bumpy shell and a large, flat head, with a wide mouth and a long snout, which makes it visually distinctive. What really draws attention in this reptile is its shell, which is large, rough, and covered with large cone-shaped protrusions. Although its appearance is not exactly elegant, it has some interesting features. Its neck is wide and flat, covered with warts and irregular skin, making it even more unique. The head is triangular and flattened, and the long snout acts as an improvised snorkel, allowing the turtle to breathe while remaining submerged in the water. Its eyes are positioned on the sides of its head, which gives it limited vision, but on the other hand, its fleshy ears are highly sensitive, allowing it to perceive movements in the water. This helps it detect the approach of predators, as it has extremely sensitive hearing. These turtles are quite sedentary and prefer shallow waters, where they can keep their snout on the surface to breathe. They have excellent camouflage when stationary, as their bumpy shell looks like a piece of tree bark floating on the water, and their head resembles a pile of dry leaves. Sucking turtles are primarily found in the waters of the Amazon and the Orinoco Basin. However, the populations in these areas have significant differences due to genetic separation that occurred at some point in the species' history. Some of these differences are so notable that scientists have suggested the Orinoco population should be classified as a distinct species, reflecting its genetic divergence. Number 17. The short-necked red-bellied turtle. Wow, so there are turtles with long necks and short necks, which is absolutely fascinating. I know, it sounds hard to believe, but these turtles really exist, and they are incredible. They are native to Papua New Guinea and Australia and are primarily found in swamps, ponds, and rivers of the region. Like many other freshwater turtles, they need to warm up regularly to maintain their body temperature since, being ectothermic, they cannot regulate their internal temperature on their own. They spend a large part of their time in shallow waters, foraging for food and basking in the sun. What truly distinguishes them from other species is their impressive and unique appearance. The shell of these turtles is dark in color, but with a bright red stripe outlining the outer edge, giving them a sophisticated and vibrant look. This elegant design certainly makes them a fashion model in the season of nature, standing out among other reptiles. They have a striking presence that, in a way, makes their habitat even more interesting, as if they are always ready for an animal fashion show. But seriously, these turtles really have a cool and attractive look, making them unmistakable. Who would have thought that, among so many species of turtles, these would be the true fashionistas of the animal world? Number 16. The spiny softshell turtle. The spiny softshell turtle is a unique species of freshwater turtle native to Southeast Asia. Its shell is remarkably different from other turtles, being unusually sharp and pointed, especially during the juvenile phase. However, as these turtles age, their shells appear to undergo wear, becoming softer and less protective. This turtle can be primarily found in mountainous environments, near small streams and tropical forests, where it adapts well to its habitat. Like many other freshwater turtles, the spiny softshell turtle is carnivorous and has a diet based on small animals. Its long necks and flattened shape are characteristics that make it an efficient and fast swimmer, aiding in capturing prey. Additionally, these turtles have webbed feet, which are extremely helpful for swimming agilely and without expending much energy. Within its ecosystem, they play a vital role as predators, helping control populations of other aquatic species and ensuring the balance of biodiversity in their habitat. However, the spiny softshell turtle is increasingly threatened, mainly due to poaching. Human activities, such as capturing these turtles for consumption, have a significant negative impact on their survival. These turtles are seen as a delicacy in some regions, further aggravating their threat of extinction. This demonstrates how the exploitation of species can destabilize ecosystems and threaten the survival of unique animals that are essential to environmental balance. Number 15. Rhode Island Snakenecked turtle. Brought to the brink of extinction due to the illegal international pet trade, the Rhode Island Snakenecked turtle is a rare species with a fascinating appearance. What really sets it apart from other turtles is its extremely long neck. So long in fact that it cannot retract its neck into its shell as is common among other turtles. Instead, these turtles fold their necks sideways, a unique and interesting adaptation. Originally, these turtles could be found throughout Australia, New Guinea, and Rhode Island Island in Indonesia, but today the species is limited to just 3 distinct locations. This further complicates efforts to maintain a healthy population of this highly sought-after species. The main issue is that, due to the high demand for these turtles in the pet trade, malicious individuals continue to capture these animals to sell them illegally, which only contributes to the ongoing decline of the population. While there are some ongoing efforts for captive breeding, the effectiveness of these initiatives is still in question. The future of the Rhode Island snake-necked turtle remains uncertain, and only time will tell if these rare creatures will survive and if their populations will recover to a sustainable level. The struggle for the survival of this species is undoubtedly a reflection of the urgent need to protect our ecosystems and endangered species. Number 14. The radiated tortoise. The radiated tortoise, native to Madagascar, is widely considered one of the most beautiful tortoises in the world, and I can't help but agree. While I find all tortoises incredibly charming, the radiated tortoise stands out, primarily because of the stunning patterns and colors on its shell. The real cuteness, however, is in the babies of this species. Have you ever seen something as incredibly adorable as these tiny babies? It's impossible to resist that burst of cuteness. After seeing these little ones, even the adult tortoises, as stunning as they are, seem almost ordinary in comparison. But back to the adult species. The radiated tortoise has bright yellow skin on its head and legs, which perfectly matches the star-shaped yellow markings covering its shell. This pattern is more detailed and intricate than any other tortoise species, making them a true spectacle of nature. When they grow, these tortoises can reach up to 40 centimeters in length, measuring the shell, and weigh up to 16 kilograms. In the wild, they are found only in the far south of Madagascar, where they inhabit environments such as dry shrubs, spiny forests, and woodlands. However, in recent decades, they have been introduced to the island of Réunion, which is near Madagascar, in an attempt to increase their population and ensure the species' survival. This action shows the ongoing effort to protect these unique tortoises, which, despite their beauty, face a range of natural and human threats. Number 13. Leatherback turtle. The leatherback turtle is one of the most fascinating and unusual among sea turtles, and its most notable feature is its shell, which, despite resembling leather, is actually made up of a thin and extremely tough layer of skin. This skin is reinforced by small embedded bones, giving it impressive durability. Unlike other sea turtles, which have hard and solid shells, the leatherback turtle is the only species that lacks this rigid protection. In addition to its unique shell, its jaws are delicate and adapted only for feeding on creatures with soft bodies, such as jellyfish. This means that it cannot consume animals with hard shells or anything that offers resistance to biting, as its jaws would be easily damaged. The almost exclusive diet of the leatherback turtle consists of jellyfish, which, although not particularly nutritious and mainly composed of water, seem to be a sufficient food source for this species. In a remarkable anomaly, despite their almost zero nutritional value, jellyfish provide the necessary sustenance for the leatherback turtle to thrive and stay active. They are primarily found in open oceans and are capable of traveling great distances, with documented sightings as far north as Alaska and as far south as the southernmost point of the African continent. Their wide geographical distribution is a testament to the incredible resilience and adaptation of this species. Number 12. Cantor's softshell giant turtle. Are you still with us, or have you fainted from disbelief at the existence of these turtles? I know, it's getting too much for me too. Known as Cantor's softshell turtle, or the Asian softshell turtle, this freshwater species has a wide head and small eyes, positioned very close to the tip of the snout. Their shells are smooth and olive-colored. Juveniles of the species may have spots on their body, head, and shell. Acne is a teenage affliction, even for reptiles. There seems to be all kinds of rumors about the size these animals can reach, but the actual data is surprisingly scarce. Despite stories of turtles growing over 6 feet, the longest recorded is less than 4.5 feet, but they can still get quite heavy, weighing up to about 100 kilograms. They spend 95% of their lives buried in sandy or muddy river and lake bottoms, and only emerge twice a day to breathe. They are ambush predators and apparently manage to do a good portion of their hunting for mollusks, fish, and crustaceans from their sedentary position in the sediment. How lazy! Number 11. African spurred tortoise. The African spurred tortoise is one of the most adorable and impressive species on the African continent. When allowed to grow naturally, these tortoises can become truly large. In fact, they are the largest land tortoises in Africa, except for island species like the Galapagos tortoises, which are even bigger. These tortoises can reach around 76 centimeters in length or more and weigh up to an impressive 45 kilograms, with some males reaching up to 90 kilograms, which is considerable for a reptile of this species. The African spurred tortoise is easily recognized and is often kept as a pet, especially in the United States, due to its charming appearance and docile behavior when young. However, like many other tortoises, it grows quickly and can become a challenge for owners as it reaches its adult size. The issue is that, while it starts out small and cute, as it grows, it can become much larger than owners expected, which can lead to frustration and giving up on keeping it as a pet. This rapid growth is one of the reasons the African spurred tortoise requires proper care, including a large space and appropriate feeding to support its healthy development. Number 10. Indian flapshell turtle. The Indian flapshell turtle is a fascinating species found, as its name suggests, in South Asia, particularly in India. These turtles possess a unique feature that makes them quite peculiar. Their skin flaps. These flaps cover their limbs when they retract into their shell, offering an extra layer of protection against predators and ensuring their underside remains well shielded. Unfortunately, this very trait has also contributed to the species being exploited, as they are highly valued for their meat, which is considered to have aphrodisiac qualities in some cultures. The demand for this meat has created a lucrative market, placing the Indian flapshell turtle at risk of overexploitation. These turtles primarily inhabit India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bangladesh, preferring shallow, sandy, or muddy areas. They are especially drawn to stagnant and even foul-smelling waters, such as slow-moving rivers, lakes, swamps, and canals. What makes this species even more intriguing is its truly unique mating ritual. The courtship begins with the male gently stroking the female's shell, followed by an exchange of head gestures. Then comes the deed, as it is said, the act of copulation. What's most curious is that after the act, they turn in opposite directions, and surprisingly, the female drags the male for a while before they finally part ways. While this ritual may seem odd, as humans, we can certainly appreciate the wide range of behaviors in the animal kingdom, and even find such moments both interesting and curious. Number 9. Alligator snapping turtle. The alligator snapping turtle, with its bizarre appearance, looks like a crazy combination of a dinosaur and a pine cone. With its massive head, deep-set eyes, and a sharp beak that seems sculpted by a Gothic artist, this creature looks like nothing else on Earth. If you happen to come across one, you might feel an immediate urge to run. But try not to panic. Things aren't always as scary as they seem. Despite their intimidating appearance, these turtles are largely solitary and shy. This is the largest freshwater turtle found in North America, typically inhabiting deep rivers, winding channels, and lakes with dense vegetation. They can grow over 80 centimeters, about 2.6 feet, in length and weigh up to 100 kilograms, 220 pounds. Wow! Although they carry a somewhat dangerous reputation, they are unlikely to attack a human unless they feel threatened or cornered. So be gentle and try not to disturb them, and hopefully you'll be just fine. But if you do encounter one, especially a cross-alligator snapping turtle, you might be in for a rather unpleasant experience. Their bite force is extraordinarily powerful, reaching up to 1,000 pounds, which can literally crush bones. So, watch your feet, because these turtles love to spend their time submerged, partially buried in mud, and can stay underwater for up to 50 minutes without needing to surface for air. That means they can be hard to spot, and you definitely wouldn't want to accidentally stick your fingers near their jaws. Despite their tough appearance, they're not very efficient swimmers. They prefer to walk slowly along the riverbed. Interestingly, they're surprisingly good climbers, thanks to their strong claws, and they can even use their beak to grip rocks or logs in fast-flowing water. Unfortunately, this truly unique species is currently listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List, mainly due to habitat destruction, pollution, and illegal capture for the exotic pet trade. That's why they could really use a bit more luck and protection in the future. Number 7. Yellow-spotted map turtle. Yes, here's yet another freshwater turtle. Can you believe this one actually exists? Is it getting easier to believe now? Do you need more proof? The yellow-spotted map turtle is a medium-sized turtle with a light brown shell that features a pattern of bright yellow or orange spots. Hence the name, of course. The males of this species sport a more elegant set of long, well-kept claws on their front feet, kind of like fancy ladies. Well, I mean, they're turtles, so technically they're claws. And they probably don't visit a nail salon, but it's still fun to imagine. These turtles spend a good portion of their day basking in the sun. That sounds easy enough for some of them, doesn't it? Their favorite sunbathing spot is a fallen tree in the water, so they can quickly leap into safety if they sense any danger approaching. Very smart. If approached by humans and they don't jump in time, the males will retreat into their shells until you stop bothering them. But the females, well, they'll just bite you. Also very smart. So the real lesson here is, don't poke turtles. It's just rude. Number 6. Galapagos giant tortoise. Now I know, these magnificent animals aren't actually turtles, they're tortoises. It's an important distinction to make, and we must stand firm against all this name confusion. So again, tortoises, not turtles. These large animals are called Galapagos giant tortoises because of their massive shells. The word in Spanish means with saddle-shaped backs, so the tortoises gave the islands their name, or maybe it was all part of colonialism. Who can really say? Either way, these incredible giant animals can weigh up to 700 pounds, even though they feed solely on a vegetarian diet of grasses, fruits, and plants. And perhaps the one thing most people know about tortoises is that they can live very long lives. This is certainly true for the Galapagos giant tortoise, which can live up to 150 years. That's possible because they have no natural predators once they reach about a year old, and can survive long periods without food or water. In fact, the greatest threat to these amazing creatures is human behavior. They were once hunted for their meat and shells, and today, habitat destruction and excessive tourism have contributed to the decline in their populations. But these gentle giants must be among the most impressive examples of large land animals. And they're also just so darn lovable, aren't they? Number 5. Hawkbill turtle. These beautiful turtles are called hawksbill turtles because of their narrow, pointed beaks. You know, kind of like a hawk's. Well, sort of, if you squint a little. Anyway, just like that whole story about the hawk earlier, these turtles are also recognizable by their overlapping scales on the shell, which create a distinct pattern that looks like a jagged edge. And as we've been learning throughout the day, their pretty pattern makes them more desirable to the fools who want to kill them. These turtles are routinely exploited for their shells, sold as tortoise shell in markets. It's pretty disgusting. When they're not being thoughtlessly slaughtered for profit, these gorgeous animals can be found swimming in tropical oceans around the world, mainly near coral reefs. They love eating things like sponges, and their pointed beaks are useful for extracting their favorite food from small crevices and holes in the reef. If they're feeling a bit more adventurous, these turtles will also enjoy a jellyfish or a sea anemone from time to time. Hawksbill turtles are living relatives of creatures that have existed on Earth for around 100 million years and play a vital role in maintaining and managing the health of seagrass beds and coral reefs. It would be a devastating tragedy if human ignorance and greed destroyed the remaining survivors. So let's hope people stop being so foolish about the natural world before it's too late. Number 4. The Plowshare tortoise. The Anganoka tortoise is also known as the Plowshare tortoise or Madagascar tortoise, and in many ways, they're a lot like other tortoises. They have an adorable face, a large shell on their back, and a reputation for being a bit slow. Their defense mechanism involves pulling their head and limbs into their shell until the danger gives up and goes away. You know, the usual. They also have a diet made up of shrubs, grasses, and bamboo leaves, but these tortoises are also known for eating poop. Yes, that's right, they eat poop. Specifically the dried droppings of wild pigs. Oh, what a delicacy! If you're having a hard time believing this tortoise exists, you might be closer to the truth than you think. This species is so critically endangered that it may very well cease to exist if protection efforts aren't implemented quickly and taken seriously. The biggest threat to this tortoise's survival is smuggling for the illegal pet trade. In addition to humans, wild pigs are also predators of this tortoise, which is even more tragic, as they enjoy eating the eggs and hatchlings. It's estimated that there are only around 400 individuals of this species left in Madagascar, and that's the only place in the entire world where they can be found. Number 3. The Pynosed turtle. These turtles really do have pig-like noses, or maybe we've got it all backward and pigs actually have turtle noses. Who's to say, really? Also known as the fly river turtle, these creatures have 4 limbs that function more like flippers. They use them to propel themselves through the water and, in fact, generate a surprisingly powerful forward motion, which is their best defense against predators. Their hind limbs act like rudders, helping the turtles move efficiently through the water, hopefully away from danger. The other most obvious feature is the already mentioned reptilian noose, or rather nose, that always loves to peek above the surface. This large, fleshy snout at the front of their unique head allows the turtle to breathe while keeping the rest of its body safely submerged, hidden from any nearby threats. These remarkable animals can also absorb oxygen from the water through structures in their throat when they are underwater. Number 2. Leopard tortoise. One of the iconic animals of the African savanna, the leopard tortoise is well adapted to the arid conditions of Central and Southern Africa. They tend to be most active in the early morning hours and again just before sunset. These creatures are sensible, seeking shade during the hottest part of the day. As the saying goes, only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. In defense, however, the English sun is usually covered by heavy clouds and widespread rain. The leopard tortoise is a rather beautiful animal, but its pattern and coloration are designed to be unseen. This pale yellow shell with black patterns serves as clever camouflage, helping these reptiles blend in very effectively with their natural habitat. This is part of what makes this species one of the most successful in the entire savanna region. Leopard tortoises have few natural predators, despite being easy to catch due to their speed or lack thereof. These tortoises have the instant defense mechanism of pulling their entire body into their hard and virtually impenetrable shell. This essentially discourages most predators, and it simply isn't worth the effort to break through for the meager treats inside. This is fortunate, as otherwise, these tortoises would never have survived, much less become the longest living land animals. Number 1. Mary River Turtle. The Mary River turtle is an aquatic reptile species from the Mary River in Queensland, Australia. I see what they did with the name. I mean, it's clever, but it's actually the most boring turtle name. These guys are also known by the decidedly more interesting name punk turtle and the hilarious butt-breathing turtle. The mind truly boggles. These turtles are in trouble, however, and not just because of their punk attitude. They are exceptionally slow to reach maturity, taking 25 to 30 years to become adults. This has some obvious repercussions when it comes to reproduction. And when you add this slow approach to the fact that these creatures went through a phase of being a popular pet choice in the 1960s and 1970s, it suddenly becomes glaringly obvious why their numbers are now dwindling to a dangerous level. In fact, the Mary River turtle population has decreased by an astonishing 95% in the last 50 years. These unique butt breathers, the name should be self-explanatory, are now so endangered that they are listed as critically endangered, and campaigns are underway to try to revive the species before it disappears for good. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked our content, please subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Also, check out other interesting content that is appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time.